All right. Commissioner Eggenberger, could you please call the roll?
Sure. Commissioner Cruz.
Yes, Commissioners Cruz and Janowski will be absent this evening. Both had given prior notice.
Commissioner Eggenberger, here. Commissioner Foster.
Here.
Commissioner, I know Janowski. Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Singh. Here. Commissioner Watkins.
Here.
Commissioner Weber.
Here.
And Chairperson Zuber.
Here, thank you. And we also have Patrick and Aaron here from the township, and it looks like we have an intern here from the township. What's your name? Emily, nice to have you. All right. And we have Courtney Agrusa, our consultant. So, very good. So we have some minutes from September 8th. Anyone want to approve those?
I move to approve.
right.
Second, Madam Chair.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Weber and support by Commissioner Watkins to approve the minutes of September 8th. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Anyone want to make a motion about the agenda?
Move approval, Madam Chair.
We don't have anything to add, right, Patrick?
No changes to the
Okay,
agenda.
Okay, I forgot to ask that first. Okay, so we have a motion by, was that Commissioner Watkins made the motion?
And
Yeah.
second.
And support by Commissioner Lee. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, and Patrick, do we have any communications?
No communications other than things that we've received on the regarding the agenda, which we'll address at that point of the meeting.
Okay, thank you. We have a public comment section here, and anyone who would like to speak to the group about anything that is not a, hold on one second, anything that's not a public hearing. So the only public hearing we have this evening is Woodbridge Estates. If you're here to talk about that, please hold your comments until we get to that section of our agenda. Otherwise, please step up to the mic. You have 3 minutes, and I need you to state your name and address for the record first, please.
Hi, my name is Michael Duff. I live at 50185 Geddes Road, Canton, Michigan. I've lived there since, my house has been in my family since 1964. Experienced lots of flooding problems along the way. But what I'm really here to talk about is get the word out that the section 125.3601, Chapter Act 110 of 2006. It's a Michigan Zoning Enabling Act laws that are on the books. Canton Township employees, the Planning Commission, Zoning Board, and Zoning Board of Appeal board members have not complied with the Michigan Zoning Act, Enabling Act, mostly on conflict of interest. Failure to do so constitutes malfeasance in office. Any party or anybody that has been negatively affected by Planning Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals, or have any information beneficial to the FBI should email michigancorruption@fbi.gov with the subject heading Canton Township Corruption. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And ma'am, did you have something to say? Yes. Okay, excellent. Well, I'll make sure you get to talk then. Thank you. All right, so that, anyone else have anything to say for public comment? Patrick, did you want to address that at all?
Well, last month we discussed that a little bit, so I'll just summarize what we discussed last month when we had a similar comment. This section is from the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. This section regulates members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, not planning commissioners. Planning commissioners are regulated by the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, which is Act 33 of 2008. The Zoning Enabling Act, which is cited, relates to Zoning Board of Appeals members. And Zoning Board of Appeals members cannot be employees or contractors. To our knowledge, our Zoning Board of Appeals does not include employees or contractors. The only exception would be that to get the stipend of $60 or $80 a meeting, they technically have to have an employee ID number and be on the payroll, but they're on the payroll as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, not as an employee. So we had discussed this a little bit at the last month's meeting. And I'm not aware of any conflicts among the Zoning Board of Appeals members. If there are, we have bylaws, we have township ordinances, and state law that regulates that. And whenever there are either real or perceived conflicts of interest, there are always disclosures, both by Zoning Board of Appeals members and planning commissioners. So last month, I cited a few examples where members did disclose it, and in some cases, it's disclosed and the member recuses themselves. In other cases, it's a disclosure, but if it's not necessarily a conflict of interest, there's nothing wrong with disclosing it and just letting the room know someone's status or their position or their membership or affiliation. So beyond that, I don't know of anything specific that has been alleged in terms of any case or any particular member. If I hear anything, then I'll follow up on it. But otherwise, I'll just summarize it with that and then refer back to last month's meeting when I spoke much longer on the matter, and that meeting's recorded so we can all go back and watch it if we want to.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to move into the public hearing section of our agenda. The first item on our agenda is 126-DIR-8750 and 126-PDDA-8780. That's also known as Woodbridge Estates, where we're considering site plan and plan development district amendment number 1 for a bunch of parcels. And they're located on the south side of Geddes Road between South Beck and Denton Roads. The proposed PDD amendment to change required setbacks and separation distance of the remaining residential buildings of the development. Patrick, tell us all about it, please.
Sure, thank you. Woodbridge Estates is a development that was originally approved in 2002, so about 23 years ago, and it was approved as a planned development district and site plan. And the original plan consisted of 476 dwelling units on 68.6 acres for a density of just under 7 units per acre. Most of the dwelling units, 311 of them, have already been constructed, and the roads, water main and sewer main and storm system have been installed for the entire development, which I'll show up on the screen in a minute. The applicant proposes some minor changes to the last phase of the development there on the south side that's outlined in yellow. There are no changes to the number of approved units. The proposed changes are to the building locations and in some cases the building floor plan and elevations and layouts. There were some changes to the architecture of the building and the floor plan by adding an additional room to the units. And the added room to the units is not a bedroom, it's just a third room for those 2-bedroom units that can be used for a home office or a rec room or a workout room or home theater or something like that. So because the market has changed in terms of that people that are looking for a 2-bedroom home also want that third room just for flexible space, the units have been designed accordingly, and as a result, the elevations and facades have changed, but the overall shells of the building should be the same. And because the infrastructure is in terms of the roads, water, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, the layout is almost identical to what was previously approved. One of the things that we'd recommended for the applicant, and the major reason for the application for the PDD amendment, is that when the original site plan was approved, the setback distance was approved between the curb of the road and the face of the building. And in doing that approval, what we've noticed over the years is that when cars are parked in the development, sometimes they're parked over the sidewalk as a result. And I can bring up just one example where find it. Well, this will take a moment to find, but whenever we get new aerial photos, we often find areas where there's a car parked over the sidewalk, and it's unfortunate, but it's kind of how the site was designed. So this is one particular unit, and the car is parked almost up to the face of the garage where cars should be parked in the driveway, but unfortunately, the car sticks over onto the sidewalk a little bit. Now, it's a private development, and it does meet the setback requirement from the curb of the road to the front of the garage. But what's unfortunate is that just based on that design, most of the cars that are parked in a driveway where there's a sidewalk, there is some overhang. Now, if vehicles are not parked adjacent to the sidewalk, then someone who's walking down the sidewalk can go around the vehicle if there's enough concrete on the apron. So what we had suggested is that in this last phase, that the applicant move the units a little bit farther from the curb of the road to allow for at least 20 feet from the front of the garage to the sidewalk. That would allow, in almost all cases, a passenger vehicle, and in some cases, a larger vehicle like an SUV could still be parked in the driveway and allow for a clear sidewalk area. So the applicant revised the design to do that. So we're going to have less incidents of cars overhanging onto a sidewalk. However, with the change in the layout of the units, by moving some of those units away from the road, it caused some slight encroachments into some of the setbacks. So as a result, there are some setback modifications that are proposed. One of them is the separation between units, the rear separation is 80 feet. The proposed rear separation between buildings 53 and 67 is 75 feet, so going from 80 down to 75 feet. The second modification is that the ordinance requires buildings to have a minimum side to rear separation of 60 feet. The minimum side to rear separation between buildings 44 and 56 is 55 feet. So again, one incident where a building separation is reduced by 5 feet. And third, the third modification is that the ordinance requires a minimum rear yard setback and side yard setback of 60 feet. And the rear yard setbacks of buildings 47 through 52 on the south side are 55 feet instead of 60 feet. On the south side, the property to the south is zoned light industrial research. So the impact of a closer setback is not really impactful on the surrounding property because the surrounding property is vacant in its own light industrial research. If and when the property to the south is ever developed, there are buffer standards that are required for a lot line adjacent to residential. So any development on the industrial parcel to the south can be partially or entirely mitigated by the required landscaping that'll take place. So reducing these rear yard setbacks on the south side from 55 feet down to, or 60 feet down to 55 feet won't be impactful. Finally, with regard to the development, let me try to put this up. So this, the area looks a little cluttered here. I'll turn off the utilities, but as you can see, the roads have already been built. There's concrete curbing and asphalt, and the roads are built according to the previously approved site plan. And our layer also includes the water layer, which is the blue lines, the sanitary sewer layer in the orange lines, and the storm sewer layer in the green lines. So the roads and the underground infrastructure has already been put in place. So in terms of any movement of the buildings of where they can go, options are very limited. So we appreciate being able to get the movement that was proposed in terms of getting the units a little bit farther back from the road to allow for less, maybe no more incidents of cars parking over the sidewalk. For this development, we had sent out several public notices. The only comment that staff received was more of a question of what was being proposed from a resident of Woodbridge. And that resident, we replied and gave them a copy of the plan layout page and an explanation of what was being requested of the applicant and why. So I think that concludes all of staff's comments. If I think of anything else that I missed, I'll make sure to bring it up. Our recommendation is approval of amendment number 1 and site plan amendment approval of the Woodbridge Estates PDD on the subject parcels, subject to all state, county, and township requirements. including any revisions to the landscape plans to comply with Article 5 of the zoning ordinance and any revisions to the PD agreement required by Township Legal Counsel. On the landscape plans, they meet the requirements of the ordinance. There are some corrective items in one of the tables, but in terms of the plant materials there, everything met the counts that were required. So that concludes our staff comments, and we'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Patrick. Open the public hearing while I ask if the project sponsor has anything to add.
Madam Chairman, I move to open the public hearing.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Weber and support by Commissioner Eggenberger to open the public hearing. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, project sponsor, did you have anything to add? Are you the project sponsor? The project sponsor, is the project sponsor here? And would you like to add anything? Sorry, it was a little too far away from the mic.
Good evening. My name is Alex Bogarts. I'm the architect for the petitioner.
So you're gonna have to speak up.
Yeah, we
because-
can't hear you very well, so the mic is unfortunately short.
My name is Alex Bogarts, architect for the petitioner.
All right,
We are happy to be here this evening and give you the information with what we're planning on this, the new final development here for Woodbridge. We've met with the planner, Mr. Sloan, and we appreciate all the comments this evening. He's really given you the core information for the property. One of the things that we want to discuss with you is why we've designed this new building type. Buildings are now, as stated earlier, are 23 years old. So you can kind of like going to the auto industry and say, taking a car that you designed 20 years ago, don't change a thing and bring it back in the marketplace and see how well you do. So that pretty much speaks for itself. But what we have done here, which we think is really significant, is providing 2-car garages. What will happen with the 2-car garages, you will not have the on-site parking that you see in the earlier phase, because those secondary cars will now be in the garages. And these are all 12-unit buildings, and only a third of the garages face the street. So we've held down the garage frontage. That was also something that Mr. Sloan asked us to take a look at earlier, which we did, and which is why we're down to only a third of the garage spaces forward. We've made a special effort to keep the building footprint exactly the same as the previous building footprint, so that we could not have significant changes to the site plan simply because all the utilities are in. Additionally, we have units that we think are just going to be excellent in the marketplace. As Patrick mentioned earlier, these have 2 bedrooms and den spaces, which is a huge thing for people to have, is that additional space. So now you've got a 2-car garage with a 2-bedroom home and a den. It's really a wonderful space, and these units vary anywhere from 1,200 square feet up to over 1,800 square feet. So we have a variety of unit types. We have townhouses in the middle of the buildings and stacked products on the end. We also made a special effort to keep the architectural theme of the exterior complementary to the original phases. We've kept the same roof pitch, slope. We've kept the window organization and the detail of windows where we had some radial top windows. We certainly have a tremendous amount of brick, which is something the township requires, but so we have that for you. And we are just very excited, frankly, about bringing this new product in, because we think it's going to be really something that's going to well serve the community. And from information that we've already received from the existing homeowners association is all good positive feedback from what we're bringing in. So we think this is a good product for the community. We think it's good architecturally for the development because it maintains that aesthetic theme through the property that we originally have, which I think is frankly delightful. And we look forward to any comments the commission members may have.
thank you. Great. We can take some public comment then. Ma'am, did you want to say your part? Yeah, yeah. Please give us your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Nancy Wiggle, a very proud resident of Canton Township for the last 42 years. 17 of those years have been spent at Woodbridge Estates in Canton. I love it there. I don't ever want to leave, and I'm planning to stay until God calls me home. I live on the ground floor of one of the 12-unit manor buildings that is very similar to what they project to build. Actually, my building is right next door to the projected new construction. I'm right there on Southbridge, so I'm going to be right next door to watch everything that's going on. I love living in this style building we call it the Manor Building out there, because for elderly senior citizens like me, I'll be 87 years old in a couple weeks. And I've lived there for all these years. My unit is on one floor. I'm on the ground floor. There's no basement. There's no loft. So that means there's no stairs. And everything is just so handy. I love it. I believe some of the units in this new project will be similar to mine. I believe we need more of these smaller units, and I'm glad that they're doing it. One improvement in the units I've heard could be the two-car garages, which he just mentioned, and I'm all for that. I just need one-car garage because I'm alone. But I have several couples in my building that there's two of them in the unit, and there's only one garage. So that means they even park on the street or close to my unit or in the visitor parking. So I'm all for the two-car garage thing. I also think having these garages could alleviate having cars parked on the streets, and it could also be a huge selling point for prospective buyers. I'm here tonight to support Anthony Randazzo and all his crew. I look forward to the new construction starting soon. Thank you.
Very refreshing to have someone in favor. Yes, ma'am, come on up. Again, please give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I'm Mary Robeson, and I live in the wonderful, wonderful Woodbridge Estate. I want to say thank you. I bought the original model, the one that Mary was in, and I have nothing but the top of the designs in my home. I, too, like Nancy, love living in the community. I do have the overhang that the gentleman spoke about if we don't put our cars in the garage, there's a little bit of overhang. But I kind of like it because then I don't have to worry about people walking their dogs and pooping on my grass, so it doesn't really bother me. But at the same time, I want to say that I am in 100% favor of the new ones, especially with the two-car garages. We're not redeemed as a senior community, but we are probably 80% seniors in that community. And so just knowing that he's going to put two-car garages in there means people will be able to park in their garages. And oftentimes when you live in a senior community, you get used to seeing the fire department and the police because we as seniors, we have issues. My husband has an issue. And just knowing that Mr. Randazzo is going to put those two-car garages, I know that when minutes are on the line, and there's something going on with your neighbor or your husband, and they don't have to, the fire department don't have to fight around the cars and stuff, so people will be able to put their cars in the garage. So I'm all in favor of it. I'm excited about it. I love living in it. I love the fact that he gives us nothing but quality as far as being all brick. We haven't had to do anything to our exterior. I just got a new roof. I just got new shingles. And I got new gutters. So I'm in it till the Lord calls me home too, Nancy. Okay, I just want to
Awesome.
say thank you.
Thank you. Sir, come on up.
My name is Angelo, last name is Giordameno. I live at 4012 Brookstone Drive at Woodbridge Estates. I do want to thank Mr. Anthony Randazzo and his team. I've also been part of another community, a new community, when they we're building through, and it wasn't quite as informative as this group. They make us feel like we're partners through all this. They make sure that we know everything that's going on. The units are well-built, as Mary stated earlier. They're all brick, which is nice, or 90% of it is brick. The two-car garages are, to me, one of the biggest things that we need. As a 71-year-old at night, sometimes driving through the subdivision, it's hard to see even with the lighting. And there are areas where, of course, we have units with one-car garages, and you have people that are going to kind of go between cars, and you can't see. It's difficult. So having a lot of those cars off the street, especially, I think you mentioned safety reasons. You know, you get an ambulance or a fire truck in there, it creates a real problem. And especially at night where everyone's coming home from work, on a couple of the streets, it's pretty much filled in front because everybody generally has at least two cars. Even our guest parking is backed up, which that should be only for guests. But, you know, some of our co-owners there are using that for parking their extra vehicle. So we do thank and look forward to seeing these units go up. We do like the partnership that we do have with them because they really do make us feel that way. Can't say that too often. They do have a representative that keeps us informed, and if we ever have any questions, they get back to us immediately on them. And they just recently finished paving our streets, which made a world of difference. And one last note, I had some family members and I live in a unit that's over 20 years old, that came in from Europe to visit me this summer and stayed with us. And they thought our units were new. And, you know, how well built they were. I mean, one of the first things, you know, they said to me when we arrived at the house, "Oh, I didn't know you lived in a new condo." And I said, "No, these units are 20 years old." So they do a great job of building these, and they will last a long time for us, which is a good thing. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Randazzo, and your team.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Move. Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Watkins and support by Commissioner Weber to close the public hearing. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, I'm going to start with Commissioner Weber, or Watkins, I'm sorry. The W's
You
get
see the
me.
resemblance, right?
Yeah, you guys look so similar.
No question. No questions, Madam Chair.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee,
Can I ask, what is the price point? Are these for sale? They're for sale units, right?
For sale units, yes.
Are you able to say what the price points are?
could you please go to the mic, because otherwise the recording won't hear you.
Price points are going to be from 350 to 375 range.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, Commissioner Eggenberger.
No, nothing, but I'm very impressed with what we're hearing, and you don't get this very often, so you guys should be proud of yourselves that you've created this wonderful community, and I'm thrilled that that's something that we have here in Canton.
Commissioner Weber.
I don't have any questions. I'd like to echo Commissioner Eggenberger's comments is that I'd like to commend the developer and your residents for having the relationship that you folks apparently do in terms of communication, which so many times we don't see that, and it's quite the opposite in many of these developments. So I applaud you for having that type of relationship and encourage you to make sure it stays that way.
All right, Commissioner Foster.
I don't have any questions. I agree with what has been said, and I do want to wish Miss Nancy an almost happy birthday.
Said almost happy birthday.
Almost happy birthday.
We hope it's happy, but. Commissioner
No
Singh?
question, Madam Chair.
No? Okay. I want to echo those those comments that my fellow commissioners have said about the community that you guys have there. So thank you for having that here in Canton. And anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make it, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I move to recommend approval of amendment number 1 and a site plan amendment to the Woodbridge Estates Plan Development District on the project parcels 126-02-0000-000 and 126-02-0571-000 through 126-02-0738-000, subject to all state, county, and township requirements, including any revisions to the landscape plans to comply with Article 5 of the zoning ordinance and any revisions to the PD agreement required by Township Legal Counsel.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Weber and support by Commissioner Lee. Any further discussion?
I do have one item to add. I wanted to note as a positive to the plan that I forgot to mention during the presentation is right now on the map itself and in the development, I'll put up on the screen here where the development is only accessed through Getty's Road. And Getty's Road, it's a boulevard entrance, so technically there's two ways to access it, but Getty's Road is the only place to access from. And it's farther south here, but the boulevard here is on the north. And one of the things that we had asked the applicant is whether they would be willing to take this drive here in the southeast corner and put an emergency stub to the east lot line. And they've agreed and they put that on the plans. The reason I note that is because Fillmore Place is a development directly to the east. And last month, we reviewed some PD amendments to Fillmore Place, and they also have an adjoining connection to the same spot for emergency vehicles. So it's shown as a connection. I don't believe that it'll be a free-flowing connection because that'll change traffic counts throughout the area, but having one more location for an emergency vehicle access, if for some reason Getty's Road was not accessible or they needed another route, both communities could benefit from a common access. So we're at a unique point where back-to-back months, both developments have shown that stub on their plans. So that's another benefit of this development.
Very good. What's not to love? Commissioner Eggenberger, could you please call the vote?
Sure. Commissioner Eggenberger, yes. Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Singh,
Yes.
Commissioner Watkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
and Chairperson Zuber.
Yes. Motion carries. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. All right, our next item. Our next item on the agenda is Independent Living Alliance. The item number is 074-SPC-8512. And we are considering a SIT plan. Never saw that before. I believe that should be site plan for parcel number 074-99-0010-704 at 51333 Cherry Hill Road. The property is located on the south side of Cherry Hill Road between Ridge and Napier. The proposed use is an intentional residential community for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, which is similar use to an assisted living facility per the zoning ordinance, including 24-hour staffing. Patrick, please tell us all about it.
Sure. Thank you. The applicant proposes to construct the intentional residential community for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities on the south side of Cherry Hill Road, just at the western township boundary. So Cherry Hill Road is north of the site here. And this gravel road just northwest of the site, that's Napier Road, and that's the western boundary of Canton. The proposed community consists of 40 units with one building on 4¼ acres. The units will consist of 30 one-bedroom units and 10 two-bedroom units, which will each have a kitchen, so they'll be independent in that sense. The building will include multi-purpose rooms, a dining room, a fitness room, a meeting room, and administrative support areas. The outdoor amenities are located on the south side of the building, and include bocce courts, a walking path, and outdoor eating areas. The Cherry Hill Village Overlay District, where this site is located, requires all projects to be treated as planned development districts. And the planned development district for this project was approved on May 14th, 2024 by the Board of Trustees and was previously recommended for approval by the Planning Commission at its meeting on April 1st, 2024. So it's been about a year and a half since the Planning Commission saw the PDD application. In the meantime, the applicants have been working on their permitting with state and county permitting. And much of that has been with decisions on the road right-of-way along Cherry Hill Road that we'll talk about in a few minutes. The site plan for the development itself is very much like the site plan that was reviewed during the PDD review by the Planning Commission. Not a lot has changed with it, so I don't have a lot of additional comments in addition to what's in the staff report. The same items that we discussed in April of 2024 regarding the Cherry Hill Village Overlay District standards and modifying some of those through the PD agreement. Those have been formally modified as stated in our staff report. We also have a lot of comments on the architecture of the building itself because Cherry Hill Village has some pretty specific architectural standards, but the way that they're written is that a lot of them are suggestive, and not every building in Cherry Hill Village necessarily meets the architectural standards. So, for example, the Village Arts Factory located to the farther to the east, that's an old industrial building. Another item is that the Cherry Hill Village overlay design discourages hip roofs, but there are some recent buildings, some more recent buildings that do have hip roofs. So some of the standards, some are more suggestive, some are pretty particular in terms of the design, but what we try to do is look at the overall design of a building, the function of a building, and the location. In terms of the location of the building, it's outside of the main core area in the downtown area. It's on the periphery, it's in the outer boundary. Similar to the Village Arts Factory, it has parking in the front. The function of this building, if it were a typical multifamily building, we might suggest having the parking in the back. But because of the unique use of the building, having the parking in the front and accessible is important. And that allows the rec areas to be in the back where there's more privacy and more space for the activities of the residents. So those items are noted in our staff report in terms of previously approved modifications from the standards, as well as anything where there's discretion for the Planning Commission and the board. So that concludes our staff analysis of this. Most of anything else that's in the report is a repeat of when we brought this before in April of 2024. So we're happy to take any questions. Our recommendation is approval of the site plan, subject to all state, county, and township requirements.
Thank you, Patrick. Project sponsor, would you like to add anything to what Patrick just said? Wait, I'm sorry, please go to the mic, because otherwise no one will be able to hear you except those of us in the room. So please tell us your name and address for the record.
My name is Dave Ebner, and I'm a board member of Independent Living Alliance.
Okay.
And we're just excited to keep the project moving. We had a little bit of a hiccup getting through some Wayne County right-of-ways, but we've been able to work our way through that and are excited to keep moving forward and appreciative of all the support Canton's give us.
Thank you. All right, excellent. Anybody got anything? Harpreet, would you like to start? Okay.
No questions for
Foster?
me.
Okay.
I'm good, thank you.
No, I think it's great that you guys are bringing this to the community. I know that it is something that is often needed when parents have children, that they are trying to figure out what's going to be the best experience for them. And
No questions.
Watkins.
Great project. Other than that, no questions, Madam Chair.
Yeah, same. I'm excited about this coming, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, who's got a motion?
I'll read the motion, Madam Chair.
Okay.
I move to recommend approval of the Independent Living Alliance site plan at 51333 Cherry Hill Road on parcel number 074-99-0010-704, subject to all state, county, and township requirements.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Singh and support by Commissioner Foster. Any further discussion? All right, Commissioner Eggenberger, could you please call the vote?
Sure, Commissioner Eggenberger, yes. Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Singh? Commissioner Watkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
And Chairperson Zuber?
Yes, motion carries. So next steps, Patrick, I see in the packet you've got some.
Sure, yeah, the next steps will be for the application to go to the Board of Trustees for final action on the plan.
Okay.
That may happen as early as the 28th.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you.
Sure, thank you. 28th of this month.
Good luck. All right, next item on our agenda is the master plan future land use map corrections.
No, I'm sorry.
Problem? Okay,
Nothing.
okay.
Why are there corrections already, Aaron?
Well, hello, everyone, and, it's nice to see you.
I guess we'll listen to Aaron talk
Yeah,
about that.
I'm sorry that we have to bring this back to you for correction so soon. It was recently after the adoption of the master plan and the future land use map that 3 errors were found in the adopted map that were not previously included in the draft maps. So the draft maps that you had looked at that were prepared by our Canton Township staff, that was a result of a lot of our discussions and things like that, were correct. The items, everything was correct that went to the public comment, for the public comment period. However, when the layers went to, back to our consultant for them to make it final and pretty, some of those errors were not caught. So I have them detailed here in our reference memo. So the medium density residential future land use classification, there is the color coding that is correct on the future land use map. So the map is correct in this. There's just no medium density residential in the table. So we're correcting by adding it to the table. Again, this was correct and fixed at one point during the master plan process. And then, because there were so many versions, it went back and forth. We didn't catch it again when it came back for the final review. So this one is really just to fix the table in and of itself, nothing to do with the map. Before I move on, are there any questions with that?
You want to tisk some more?
You can tisk. I deserve to be tisked. I'll take it.
Well, this was an error that came back from our consultant, so.
Let's tisk the consultant.
I will still
So
take
we-
it. I still feel guilty about it.
So what, going through the deliberations, we had spent a lot of time having it corrected. A lot of the meetings, a lot went into this. So, when we sent all the GIS data back, when we got it back from the consultant, we're looking through the nodes, we're looking at other things. And so these errors, in this case, in the legend, which is pretty innocuous, but when compared to the map, could be significant if left unresolved. So that's the significance of this particular one.
We don't know that yet. We're not done with Aaron's report.
Didn't you read the report?
I did, but there might be more that we didn't find.
They haven't found them yet, yeah. This could be fireable, Aaron.
The second error is related to the special planning areas. Again, there's nothing incorrect with the map itself. Those 5 areas along the Michigan Avenue corridor are labeled correctly, 1 through 5. However, the associated table that lists 1 through 5 was written in error. It's 1, 2, 3, 3, 5. So they eliminated number 4. I don't know why, but that was
And
an
4
error
comes
that
after
was
3.
Yes, yeah, it does.
Since when?
We went to grad school to make sure. We've double checked. Yeah. So that was one of those, it was correct on all of our draft maps. It went to our consultant, and when it came back, again, we were looking for other things. We were trying to finalize the draft text, and this one just inadvertently got mixed. But the map itself and the correlated numbering on the map is correct. It's just the table on the map.
Okay. What else?
Number 3 is it does relate to a specific property. It's on Morton Taylor property north of the Lower Rouge River. This was a property that is actually owned by Canton Township. So in our layers, we had it noted as a park area because this has been recently named and designated as a nature area. This is the Zeshwadokin Nature Area. However, when our files went to our consultant, they didn't recognize it as park, and so they put it as municipal. So you can see it on the map as it's, instead of dark green, it's like a bright blue. So again, this one, because it's a Canton Township-owned property, it's not as critical as if we were like doing something with a commercial property or residential. However, we want to make sure that this designation is appropriate, especially because these nature areas are limited when it comes to the developmental area, and we just want everything to be cohesive and consistent across our maps. You know, the other one, ZB West, is noted as park. Zeshwadokin should be noted as park. So this was the only area, this is the only error that essentially affects the future land use map and changes anything on the map itself. So in order to correct these 3 errors that we have discovered, we consulted with Foster Swift, our consultants, and it was recommended to come back to the Planning Commission, hold the public hearing, make the recommendation to adopt, go back to the Township Board. So that way we're transparent, we're above board, and if anyone from the public wishes to comment on it, then they will have that opportunity to give us a formal tisking in public. Yes.
They can tisk too.
So we ask that you would set the public hearing for our next available meeting, and we can get this all finalized and buttoned and continue on.
It's honestly hard for me to imagine a member of the public having any criticism of us.
Not tonight.
I mean.
Not tonight.
Not tonight, no. That
Have
was
more of
sarcasm.
those?
Don, the meeting's not over yet. Why would you say that now?
All right.
There were 3. We had our interns and our staff go through and do a full QA/QC of the whole map and look at the draft number 5, draft number 6, draft number 7 with the McKenna, our consultants' maps.
Don't wanna throw anyone
Yeah, I
under
don't
the
want to
bus.
blast me. With our consultants' maps and make sure that there was nothing else that we missed. And these were the only 3 that we noted. I'm sorry?
I think you should untisk. Take back your tisks.
Well, it would have been better if we'd found it earlier, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So you need a motion.
Could
So
someone
yes,
please
we need
make
a motion to set a public hearing for the next meeting, yes.
I move to set the public hearing to adopt the 3 corrections to the future land use map of the master plan shown as draft number 7 in the enclosed packet, and to be included in Canton's Vision for Tomorrow, a comprehensive community master plan.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Eggenberger and support by Commissioner Lee. Any further discussion? All right, Commissioner Eggenberger, could you call the vote?
Sure, Commissioner Eggenberger, yes. Commissioner Foster? Yes. Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Singh?
Yes.
Commissioner Watkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
And Chairperson Zuber?
Yes. Awesome. Motion carries. All right, and our next item is a zoning ordinance amendment for ZBA membership.
Thank you. Currently, our zoning board of appeals has 5 regular members and 2 alternate members. And the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, which came up earlier tonight, part of it,
Wait, did it?
a little bit. So one section of that law prescribes how many members of the zoning board of appeals there must be. There has to be at least 5, and there has to be up to 2 alternate members. And the number of members has to be specified in the zoning ordinance, and it can be above 5. So for any commission or board, we recommend an odd number. A lot of large communities like Canton have 7 members on their zoning board of appeals. And recently, the township has put out an advertisement for applicants to the zoning board of appeals. There's at least 1 vacancy for a regular member, potentially alternates. And The township received many great applications and recently had some interviews. And something that we've discussed internally for a while is potentially increasing the size of the Zoning Board of Appeals to 7 members, consistent with a lot of other communities in the area, especially large communities. And so with a lot of the interviews and applications that we've had recently and the number of qualified applicants, we felt it appropriately to propose an amendment to the zoning ordinance to formally increase the size of the Zoning Board of Appeals from 5 regular members to 7 regular members, and then still keeping it at 2 alternate members. So tonight, we're just recommending setting the public hearing for that zoning ordinance amendment. And if the public hearing takes place, it'll be scheduled for the November meeting. And then the appointments for the Zoning Board of Appeals, for which there were some recent interviews. Any appointments that are made will take effect first of the year. So it's possible that the proposed amendment could be effective by the time the appointments take place. So there's a little bit of a timing reason for bringing this before the Planning Commission at this point. So that concludes our staff analysis, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Excellent. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
I can do it.
Sure.
I move to set the public hearing for the proposed amendment to Section 2804B of the zoning ordinance to increase the number of regular members of the ZBA.
Great. Once again, we have a motion by Commissioner Eggenberger and support by Commissioner Lee. Any further discussion? Great. Commissioner Eggenberger, could you please call the vote?
Sure. Commissioner Eggenberger, yes. Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Singh?
Yes.
Commissioner Watkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
And Chairperson Zuber?
Yes. All right. Excellent. That's,
A wrap.
we have miscellaneous. Anything?
I have a question for Aaron.
Should we
In the
adjourn
master
first?
plan, in our nodes, I thought that gas stations were not.
So you're asking
Not
about
permitted,
the
not
onboard
permitted,
group.
prohibited, yes.
Okay.
I think she's asking about that application.
Yeah, because the application.
Well, anyone can apply for anything.
Oh.
So we are reviewing every application based on the ordinance and against the master plan. And the master plan is very explicit, not only in the text, but also in those node analysis that we did for each individual node, and specifically noting that at each one, auto-centric gas stations, drive-through restaurants, those are prohibited, not permitted in a neighborhood mixed-use node.
On top of it, that particular corner has many issues, whether real or perceived by many people in the community. So, I mean, I'm assuming the petitioner is aware of all that and still chooses to go forward on.
Yeah, we've had conversations with the applicant, so it should come as no surprise when they get their DRC letters.
I really like the way you put that, Aaron. Anyone can apply for anything.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said I really like the way you put that. Anyone can apply for anything.
All right. Anything else anybody's got? A motion, did I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right. I have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Weber, and we had a tie for support. Commissioner Foster and Commissioner Watkins. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Awesome. All right. See you guys. Are we going to be meeting on the, is it the